Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am Yodele. Oh, you like this makeup look? You think I'm pretty? Thank you. I recorded the video of this look and it's on my channel. You can check it right here, or the link will be in the description box below. If you want to see how I had fun and created this makeup look, then you should definitely check that out. But before you do, you need to watch this video. So a few weeks ago, I was on Pinterest scrolling through, minding my business and manifesting my dreams, and I came across this beautiful bag. You know how Pinterest is, when you see one picture, it's like an abyss and you keep seeing more pictures like that. And I just went down the rabbit hole of 4 bags, tote 4 bags, sling bag 4 bags, messenger bags 4 bags, all types of 4 bags. It was amazing. I was looking at all of them and I thought it would be nice to have that. And then I'm like, you know where this is going. It would be nice to make that. And boom, I decided to make a reminder or disclaimer. I always put this in my videos, always. I have just 2 videos where I've done DIY so far. But that being said, I put a disclaimer that I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to sewing, so please, I know, don't tell me. I know I'm not doing the right things. I know I don't know what I'm doing. I just enjoy. I know how to sew. I have like the basic knowledge of sewing with my hands. I don't know how to sew a sewing machine. I don't have one. It's not a DIY transformation or nothing like that. I am literally creating a bag. Now, back to the story. I did some research and I found out that it was actually a brand. It wasn't just people making these bags. Like, it's the brand that created I think it's called the UNIF Faye bag, Faye, Faye 4 bag. And I went to their website and I realized that it is $88. Like, that's a lot of money that I don't have yet market. And I copped myself this beautiful pink fur. I wanted black, but they didn't have black. And when I saw pink is my best color. I was like, this is divine intervention. I should get the pink. So I got this beautiful, fluffy, soft, pretty, lovely pink faux fur material. I got 1 year at 3,500 naira. I will put the dollar equivalent on the screen. I watched, let's say, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 YouTube videos on how to sew a bag, and that's how the idea was born. Please, if you're interested in every single thing I just said, thank you for listening to me for this long. And without anything else to say, I hope you enjoy the process making of this bag.
Here are the materials I used for the video: black lining, thread, scissors, chalk, zipper I didn't use, my ruler, and sewing needles, hand sewing needles. This is the lining and the faux material. These are the dimensions I used. Later on, I will get into it in case you missed this part or you didn't understand. I used 10 inches length, 10 inches length and 8 inches height. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know pattern making. I don't know how to measure. I don't know any of that stuff, like I mentioned at the beginning. So this part was, you can see me confused. I was so confused. I did 1 inch seam allowance instead of 1 centimeter seam allowance. So the entire thing ended up being way bigger than I expected it to be. I'm so excited I got a ruler because it's way easier to use to measure than a tape rule, because it's flat and it just stays where you put it. This is not the proper sewing ruler, but this still works. Now I'm cutting out the sides of the bag, and that's this actual sides and this is the bottom of the bag. And this is what I was explaining at the beginning. 8 inches at the side and 10 inches at the bottom. And this is the bag I use for reference, just to put it into perspective where each part would go. Now that I think about my measuring error, I think I made 10 inches about 12 inches and the area that was 8 inches about 10 inches, flipping the lining inside out. And I used this black material as a template because I didn't want to go in blindly. I didn't want to go into measuring and cutting the lining blindly. Flexing with my ruler. And it's time to cut. I try to maximize this material as much as possible because waste is not good for the environment. So the more material I use, the better. And this is it once again. This silk part is going to be inside the bag. And I'm done. Flipping the fur and repeating the same process. I sped this up a bit because I've already done it twice. No one mentioned this in all the videos I watched in terms of fur bags, but fur sheds like crazy. This was everywhere. At a point, I had to put on a face mask because I couldn't breathe. The fur was everywhere. This is the strap of the bag. I measured 3 inches for the width of the strap. I measured 3 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, 5 inches, just to know how thick I wanted it to be. And that's what you see me test now here, like which amount of inches or which length of inches would be better. And I went with 3 inches. Measuring 100. This as well was too long for me, but just do what works for you. Go with the measurements that fit you best. Now I pinned the entire lining just to show you the shape that the bag is going to take. As you can see, all sides together, and I'm going to go in and sew. And here's the fur material pinned up together the way it's supposed to go. And the straps. Here's my sewing machine and my sewing tools. I couldn't record sewing the lining because my phone was charging, but you get the picture. Check out my hand sewing skills. Like, would you believe this was hand sewn? It's so neat, if I do say so myself. And this is the fur. I just want to show you my stitching. I did it really tight as possible so that it wouldn't burst. No seam would burst or go anywhere. If you're liking or enjoying this video so far, please give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment. Maybe tell me what you'd like to see next, or tell me what project you'd like to start. Maybe I inspired you. Tell me all of that stuff. I would like to know. Threading the needle and continue sewing. This took hours. I started by 4 p.m. and I slept by 2 a.m. and I was
many hours later.
I wasn't done. I repeat, I wasn't done. This took me 2 days to sew. Now I'm done sewing the fur. Look at the seams, the stitching, really good. Seam stitching is really strong and really neat. I'm flipping it inside out. So here I'm putting right sides together. So what you want to do is to put the right side of your lining to the right side of the fur and sew it together, so that when you flip it inside out, the right side of your lining will be the inside of your bag. Here it is all pinned together. If you're confused, don't worry. As I go on, I would explain it better. This part I'm not sewing, so that's where I will stitch. But this is where I made a mistake. Because of inserting the straps, I was supposed to leave both sides open. That side, as you saw, I loosened it because I made a mistake. And this is the side that I sewed, but I'm going to show you yes, this is going to be open for flipping the bag. So now that I'm done sewing, I'm flipping the bag inside out, and this is what it's supposed to look like. Neat and done. Do you see what I mean? So the right side of your lining will be the inside of your bag, and it's done. This is strap. I'm just pinning it together, right side facing, and I pinned the whole 100 centimeter of it, and I'm sewing it.
Next day.
Done. So I sewed this and I had already flipped the straps inside out. I'm just demonstrating it here. So soft, so fluffy. And this is the mistake I was telling you about. I undid the seams on both sides. You know, I told you that I made a mistake. I sewed one side up, so I undid them on both sides so I could attach the straps in. Now, this is where it gets tricky. I was so confused at this part. What you want to do is attach the strap to the faux part of the material. Just pin them together. This will be difficult because now it's 3 times thicker. As you can see, I attached the strap, I pinned it to the faux part of the material, and now as it's open, and I'm going to put it inside the bag. Remember that all these parts of the bag that we're seeing, we're not going to see them anymore when we flip it inside out. So you want your straps to be on the other side. You feed it through the bag and bring the strap out on the other side, just like this. Yes. Now that that's successfully done, you need to pin the straps to the sides of the bag, to both sides, both the lining and the faux. So many pins were bent in the process of sewing this bag. This material got thicker and thicker by the second. As you can see here, now I'm done sewing it together. I pulled through, and so would you if you're doing this with your hands, of course. So now that that's done, I've sewed the strap tightly to that side. I'm going to flip everything, both strap, bag and lining, inside out. Be careful when you're doing this part so you don't bust a seam, because I almost did. And I'm done. As you can see, the strap is secured safely in and everything is looking neat. So what I did here is I just put it through, folded the lining to look neat to match the other side, and sewed it tightly. I added a glitter pocket to the lining, just because, you know, a compartment to put maybe coins or your lip gloss or your hand sanitizer or something. This part was tricky because I did it after joining all the parts together. And now I'm done. I'm just showing you how neat and tightly done the connections are. You want to do everything as tight as possible, especially if you're doing it with your hands like me. And look at the pretty pink, fluffy, silky bag. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope you do something like this. I hope I inspired you. More projects to come.
Oh, hi. Oh, you want something? Well, I have some hand sanitizer. Sorry. Oh, this beautiful pink faux bag. I need it. Oh, you think it's nice?